career fairs. So real quick before we get started, one thing we're doing is we're getting started. We're going to be talking about virtual career fair prep today. So I'm Jocelyn. I am an assistant director here in career advising at the Stuckert Career Center, and we're really excited to have you here with us. And I'm joined today by Kara from Cintas, and so I'm going to have her introduce herself real quick for you.
Thank you so much, Jocelyn. My name is Kara Howard, like she said, and I have been with Cintas Corporation now for almost 11 years, which is crazy to say. And I started with them straight out of college. I went into the management trainee program in Central Illinois, and I was in the rental part of our division, which is like the biggest part of the division with uniforms that you probably know us for. I got promoted to a uniform sales representative role after I completed the management trainee program. I did that for about 2 years, and then I did something crazy and I left Cintas for 2 years. And then I came back in Nashville, Tennessee as a service supervisor, did that for only 2 months, and then got promoted to a service manager where I was in charge of 14 routes. So 14 of these trucks on the road, 1,000 customers, and $7 million a year in revenue. And then I got promoted to this campus talent acquisition manager role. So I've been doing this a little over 2 years. I live about an hour and a half east of Nashville, Tennessee, and I cover the entire eastern half of the United States now. So University of Kentucky, I'm biased. I love this school. I say it every single time. My husband graduated from UK. All of his family graduated from UK. His family lives in Lexington. So I'm a Wildcat fan. So thank you so much for being here today and taking time to listen to me. Hopefully you can take away some really good nuggets for this virtual career fair season and onward, because I don't necessarily see this going away for good. So hopefully I can help you out today. And I love questions. I'm extremely transparent. I'm here to help and be a resource. So please, please, please ask me questions. I do have a cough drop in my mouth. So if you're wondering what is going on, it's because I talk so much that my throat needs a cough drop. So there you go. Thank you, Jocelyn.
Thank you so much for being here today. I loved your introduction. I loved the visual aids. Like, that was perfect with the little truck there. That's amazing. So today Kara and I are gonna have a great discussion, ask a few questions, and then afterwards we're going to walk you through how the Handshake platform actually looks, how it works, and what you're going to be logging into next week and then please ask questions away. I love questions. That's what we're here for, is to answer. So we want to hear from you too. So the first thing I want to ask you, Kara, is the question I think I get all the time from students is it actually worth it to go to a virtual career fair? They just want to know, should I even bother spending that time?
Yes, go, absolutely. Please go. It's so important. First of all, it will never be easier to go to a virtual career fair than what it is right now. Literally, you just need to get yourself prepared from the top up, and you can be comfortable and casual and be on your computer and meet really awesome people. I'll tell you that I met Cintas when I was a freshman in college going to a career fair. So I stayed in contact with them every single year until my junior year, or actually going in my senior year. And I knew that's where I wanted to work and got hired on really early my senior year. So this is a time to network, to meet people, put yourself out there, meet companies and employers that you never would have thought about. Like a Cintas, it's not sexy and glamorous, but it's something that we've got tons of opportunities. So this is the time to really feel out these companies, who you like, who you don't like, and you never know where that connection is going to lead in your career.
Jocelyn and Kara, we have a question actually from our audience. It is, how should I prepare for one-on-one conversations with recruiters? And how does this differ from the group conversations?
Yeah, great question. Oh my goodness. Okay. So let me make sure I capture all of it. So group sessions, it's a lot of different students all in at one time with an employer. And maybe that employer goes through a presentation. I personally like it to be like a conversation. And here's what I would like to do is tell you about me, about Cintas, and about my management trainee opportunities, and then open it up for questions. So that's more of a let them do the presentation or kind of listen to how they're going to flow with it, and then have some questions prepared that may not have been answered throughout the presentation or the conversation. So a group session it should all be pretty informal anyway. These are not interviews. There's no way that an employer could ever interview you properly in 10 minutes. So these should be conversations. So just kind of sit back, listen, observe when it comes to the group session. One-on-one sessions, I'll tell you, definitely prepare for it by doing due diligence and looking on their website. Know who you're talking to and what they have open for opportunities. If you're a freshman, a sophomore, maybe even a junior, and you're just trying to network and to talk to people and to get acclimated to talking to an employer and see what that feels like, that's a different story. If you're a senior and you're looking for a job, you need to know about that company on that one-on-one session. Have your elevator pitch laid out. And I'll tell you this, know your resume. I don't know your resume. You know your resume. You know your experiences. So highlight all of those pieces that, like, hi, I'm Kara Howard and I've achieved this and I'm in this group and I am in this organization. I love to do community work with this. And here's what I'm looking for today. Have your pitch where you feel comfortable saying who you are and what you're there for, because they're going to ask you. So due diligence, know your resume, know what you're there for those one-on-one sessions. And anybody else who's just trying to, like, again, network, it's casual. Just if you don't know necessarily about that company, now's the time to ask. I always think it's good if you book something with somebody, be prepared to know a little bit about the company.
No, I think that's I think that's great advice. I think that makes so much sense. Like, talking about the difference between that group and that individual, as well as that idea of researching and going back to your previous answer about keeping an open mind and just going and seeing and being able to have that discussion, I think is so important, because you never know what's going to come up in conversation and where you might, like, kind of find that niche that works, as well as being able to have something to talk about. So both knowing your resume and being that expert on yourself, right, and your experiences, as well as knowing just a little bit of the tip of the iceberg about the company. Because I'm assuming, I'm not you, I'm not an employer, but I'm assuming they don't expect you to be an expert, but they expect you to be able to hold some type of conversation with them about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're not asking you to recite our mission statement. Like, I totally understand that that is not what's going to happen. Just know a little bit about it and do some, again, research on it. Our management trainee opportunities attached, I believe, to the schedule. So you should be able to see kind of what we're looking for ahead of time, which would help. And I will tell y'all, 10 minutes goes so fast. It's insane. It goes so fast. So have that 30-second pitch down and just be prepared. Like, I go into it saying, hey, here's what I like to do in this 10 minutes. I want to know, I'm going to tell you what I have. I want to know about you. And if that's what you want, if they align, let's talk about next steps. So that it's a fast moving train in these one-on-one sessions.
No, that's wonderful. Okay. So since it is a fast moving train and, like, you've developed, you're gone, you're in that one-on-one, you have a great elevator pitch, how else can a student be really engaging during those sessions?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the most engaging conversations I've had is when they're excited and they're not distracted with what's going around them. And they're, like, zeroed in on me, like, hey, I really want this opportunity. I came to talk to you today. I couldn't wait. I think I'm a great fit for your company. I love everything I'm hearing. Like be engaged with it. And I know sometimes there's a lag with the conversations, with it being virtual and everybody's different internet speeds and wherever you're located taking it. But just try not to talk over the employer with being so excited. But I like to have someone who's engaged and, like, I know what I want. I know I've done my research. I think also you can stand out by always due diligence. It goes down to the foundational pieces. It's nothing like earth shattering. And then always dressing professionally. So regardless of what position or what opportunity you're going for, I think you always have to dress for success. Like, come pretending it's a 10-minute interview, because you're going to walk away leaving an impression on that employer, because we're having students, and it just happens, they're either running late from another employer discussion or they completely forgot and they're a no-show to our conversation. So you've got some opportunity to make an impact.
Yeah. Okay. So that was all fantastic. advice about standing out and being engaging, because it's so important, right? We want to make that best impression, and we want to be able to show like, hey, we're here, we want this job, like we're excited. But one thing you said in there especially like made me think, so you talked about that internet that's lagging at times and can have conversations. Well, what happened? Like, speaking as someone whose computer has crashed during presentations, who's hasn't been able to get browsers to work, like what do you suggest to do if you have some tech issues during this time?
I love it, Jocelyn, because I think on a daily basis, I work through this. So I've learned 13 platforms since fall. And I can tell you that employers are going through the same things that you're going through. And we have some grace with the technology, but I will tell you that instead of giving up and getting frustrated and making it, making it a bigger obstacle than what it is, be ready to pivot. Just have in your mind, okay, if I am talking to this employer and my audio is not working, but I can see you, can't hear you, get something chat function. The chat function is our best friend in the virtual space. Shoot your phone number in there and say, hey, listen, I can't hear you. I don't know if maybe coming back in or out is going to work. I know we've got 10 minutes. It goes fast. Can you call me or can I call you? So pivot and be ready to pivot, because something is bound to happen. It just is. But how you adapt to it also shows who you are as a candidate. Because if you don't sweat something like that, I'm impressed, because I'm like, wow, that would be a really stressful situation if you want to talk to me and you want this job. So know that that's going to happen, but be prepared for it. Don't just give up. There are ways to get back in touch with the employer, ways to reach out to those faculty and staff helping with the event. But I think having a backup plan in place is going to make you look like a rock star.
Yeah, I would think sorry.
Sorry. We are prearranged that I would be rude and interrupt. I'm so sorry. We have another question. We have a student that it would like to know, should I submit my application to apply for a job before I speak with a recruiter at the career fair or wait until after?
That's a great question. I would say either way, because that's really at your discretion. I'll tell you from my standpoint as an employer, if I have a handshake application come through before I see that we're going to meet, because not everybody is this way, but I connect the dots that, hey, I saw the application come through. Hey, you're signed up for a one-on-one session with me. And if you say to me in that one-on-one session, like, hey, Kara, I proactively already applied to the position. I want that job. I'm going to be impressed because you've applied. You are showing initiative, like good for you. Now, on the flip side, maybe you're a candidate that's not sure about a company and you wanted to hear more about that position and you're not sold on it yet. That's the time where you listen to that employer, you ask questions in the one-on-one and determine if it is a fit for you to apply at that point in time. When someone applies to my management training position, I think that they want me to hire them. And if they bow out of the process or say they're not interested, my first, thought is, why did you even apply? You had the opportunity to meet with me. So hopefully you can see that, wherever you fall within that range, if you know that's what you want, yes, apply. It's a great speaking point in your one-on-one session. And if not, and you're feeling out that company, apply afterwards. It shows that the employer made an impression on you.
No, that's great advice. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. And we definitely see in the chat function too, she says thank you, and that's great points to make and everything. And I want to go back to your previous answer too. I'm sorry, I'm like I'm gonna go back because everything you keep saying is so great. No, but I loved that idea, that forefront that you were saying about that idea of pivoting and having a backup plan and everything. And I would think too that not only does that show you like great in the interview, but also what kind of employee you could be, right? Because you're able to pivot and you're able to just change in the face of crisis and things too. So that's great advice. Like, love that.
I've had students on my one-on-one sessions that have told me, hey, Kara, I'm just going to call you. Can you put your phone number in the chat? And I'm like, brilliant idea. Yes. Thank you for being so great. And I remember that candidate all day long because I'm like, wow, they saved the day.
I love it. I love students. I love it when people problem solve and they have that initiative to do that and show like, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to fix this. Like, I know what's going on. So no, that's fabulous that they do that. Okay. So we talked about, like, speaking of fabulous, we've talked about all these great things that you can do and everything. What are some things that students should avoid that they shouldn't do that will make them stand out for the wrong reason?
Not go to the virtual career fair. If you submit an application while I'm on the career fair, I'm gonna be like, why weren't you on the career fair? No, I'm just kidding. Go to the career fair because, I mean, again, it is an easy way to talk to employers in a casual setting. You need to go, but I would say some mistakes or some maybe no-nos on these one-on-one sessions. Again, distractions. Think about your surroundings when you're in these one-on-ones. As employers, we give a lot of grace, but you see behind me, I've got a really cool quote. If that quote was maybe, I don't know, an inappropriate sign or something, and you don't want any reason to not move forward with an employer. So just make sure you have a professional background, that you're not dressed in a t-shirt unless you have some sort of reason for it. Maybe you came from working out or practice or whatever that is. That's a good story, but be ready for it. Treat it with respect, because they're taking their time. Employers, we're taking our time, and you're taking your time. So treat it as, this is a time to make a really great impression and make an impact.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I've heard a lot of people make that comment too, like, treated it as if it was in person. Like, this is just as serious. Just because it's virtual doesn't mean that it's any less. Like, you're still that, like, you're networking, you're having that conversation. That's so important. So dressing that way and things. So yeah.
Wear sweatpants or, basketball shorts, and then have on a suit jacket, or a nice button up or whatever that is. No one knows.
Right, exactly. It's about being comfortable. It's business up top, comfy down like below. You're all good.
I give a tip to students. So I know that it's nerve-wracking talking to employers, and not everybody is transparent. Some, everybody's different depending on industry too, and what recruiters do. But you're gonna have an opportunity to have your air turned down, water next to you, a fan going. You can control your elements more than you ever could in a hot gym or somewhere where there's so many people. So if you get nervous or you have anxiety when it comes to talking to employers, and it's your first time, maybe you're freshman or sophomore, control your circumstances. Turn on a fan, turn down the air, make yourself comfortable so that you can focus on the conversation and not sweat beads around your face because you're nervous. I'm one of those people that gets nervous in those situations too. So I get it, but just a tip.
No, I love that. I think that's so important, that taking control. You're taking control of your career already by attending the fair. Now you're taking control of your environment too. Like, that's perfect. That's so true. Okay. So now our student has decided to come to the fair. They've been engaged during the fair. They worked through their technical issues. Do you have any suggestions about like follow up after the fair or anything that they should do?
Yeah, I would say to definitely find that employer on LinkedIn. I have had so many students reach out, and I have hired management trainees from their follow-up on LinkedIn. So do that, and then it's going to create this big web of all these other people from that organization that you can connect with as well. So I think it's awesome. And I love getting messages on LinkedIn saying, hey, Kara, it was so great to meet you. Thank you for your advice, or nice chatting with you. It makes me happy. I love to do what I do. And so that makes me feel really good, and that I made an impact on you. And then I would say too, ask for their email in chat and ask if you can stay connected with them. So if you don't get it, do LinkedIn, but I would suggest both LinkedIn and get their email and send them a really nice email afterwards. That again shows initiative, and it sticks you out in front of other candidates. Big way. A lot of students do not do that. So if you do that, you're already ahead of the game.
No, I love that. I love that. I feel like taking initiative is like the theme of today. Like everything you've talked about, it's all about that taking initiative and standing out. And speaking of taking initiative, like our audience is great today. We have another question. Like I'm loving this. So we had the question about what do you look for on LinkedIn when they reach out? Do you look for any type of verification badges for skills, things like that, or browsing profiles if a student reaches out?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think every employer does it differently and has different practices. Personally, for me on LinkedIn, if you reach out and connect with me and you send me a message, I'm going to respond to you within 24 hours in most cases, unless I'm absolutely slammed and can't get to it and it's 48 hours. But I'm going to be the one responding to you, and I'm going to help direct you and say, hey, here's my email address. Send me your resume. If you haven't applied their handshake, let's just say that you solely connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. Send me your resume. Tell me your top geographic preferences, where you want to be. And then I pivot you over to email and we'll get you into that interview process. So I don't really look for anything on LinkedIn. I want your resume. That's going to tell me the story. I'm not looking at your LinkedIn. Now, when I'm not in like spring recruiting or fall recruiting season with career fairs and everything, I do source from Handshake and LinkedIn, and I will look at those things at that time. But right now, if you connect, I'm not worried about that. I want your resume. I've got 100+ management trainee openings nationwide. I need some top talent for those. I want to get you going.
Thank you. I'm so excited for you to find some great talent next week for those positions. Like it's going to be great. I know you're going to find them.
I know. Well, UK always.
Yes, we love to hear it. Okay, so I'm gonna let you go here in a few minutes for so that we can walk through Handshake with the students. You don't have to stick around for that, but I just want to see if there are any last minute questions for students, and if you had any just last tips or tricks for them that to really help them succeed next week.
Be yourself and have fun with it. There's nothing that you can mess up and do wrong, really. I mean, we're in this with you where we're like having technical issues, or me having to have, a cough drop in and stuff, working them in. So treat it like that. And this is where rubber meets the road, where you start learning who you like and who you connect with and what companies, you never thought that you would ever like. And now all of a sudden you're like, well, I never even thought about it. This is where you can start making your yes and your no list and doing more research on these companies. So when you're a senior, you know where you want to go. But have fun with it. It is awesome. And again, I like virtual because I feel like people are a little bit more themselves, and there's not as, I mean, I know you're in 10-minute sessions, but you don't have the pressure of someone standing right behind you at a booth waiting for you to get done to talk. So have fun.
God, no, that's so much is you'll be less nervous if you have fun, if you're yourself, if you're just showing them, hey, this is who I am. So that is wonderful advice. Thank you. So we really do appreciate you coming here. In the chat, they are raving about you, about all of your information. So thank you. We really do appreciate you taking time out of your day to come and chat with us about this.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I love any opportunity to talk to my Wildcat. So thank you. And reach out to me on LinkedIn. Like, reach out if you have any questions. Jocelyn, if you guys want my email address, Jocelyn, you can get it to them, or you want me to put it in chat?
Either or.
I can put it in chat. If anybody wants to reach out to me directly, and it doesn't have to be Cintas related. If it's like, hey, Kara, what about this or what about that? Or I've had 2 interviews with this company. Is that good or bad? And hey, I'm a resource. Use me. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate that. And we appreciate your willingness to chat with students. So
thank you all so much. Have a great day. Have a great rest of your week.
Bye.
Bye.
So thank you all for sticking around. We're going to walk through Handshake right now to just kind of give you some time to see how the platform works, make sure that we can answer any questions about how that actually runs. And then afterwards, if you want to do resume reviews or have any questions for myself and my other career advising staff here that's with us, we're happy to take them. So now I'm having technical difficulties today with my screen share. So my coworker Beth is going to go ahead and show us what the Handshake student function for the career fair is going to look like. She's going to go ahead and share her screen and we're going to get going to run through that real quick to show you how to sign up for those one-on-one sessions and how to sign up for those group sessions that Kara mentioned.
So as luck would have it, I'm also having technical difficulties out of nowhere. So this is what we had yesterday. I am going to go out and I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, see, this is where, oh, Rachel's going, we're going to have someone else try to. See, this is where we're talking about. We pivot, we have these things going on, we'll come back around. It's okay. We get it going. And figure out what's going. So while we're waiting, does anyone have any questions at this time? No, okay. But we are good because we have our screen share going. So that's perfect. So this is your homepage, what it looks like when you log on to Handshake. So this is perfect. First thing you're going to see. So from here to get to the career fair, we're going to go ahead and click on events. So you have it up there in the top or in the thing. Then next we're going to click right down there on career fair. So rather than going searching through, we can hit right on career fair to see all the upcoming career fairs that are happening. So we see coming up on next Tuesday, we have the engineering, computer science, and STEM fair. And we see on Wednesday, we have the higher blue business, accounting, communications, liberal arts, and all majors. So that's the one we're going to go ahead and click into. So typically here, we're then going to be able to just hit registered right over here to the right, but Rachel's already registered because she is on top of it. So we don't have to worry about that. But so once we're registered now we are good to go ahead and start signing up for sessions. So if we scroll down, first thing we're going to see is all of the career fair details. So what the actual, the day, like what it's going to look like, where you can get help, day of, different things like that. All really great. So if you need help day of, we have that Zoom room to answer those questions for you. So the next thing we want to go is now we're going to actually start scheduling sessions. So we're going to click up here on available sessions. Perfect. And here is where we can go through all the different companies and kind of see who do we want to search for, who has openings, things like that. So they're all listed here. And I will tell you, you know, all these companies already have sessions in here, but more are probably going to be at, people might still be editing and adding more sessions. So you definitely want to check back regularly to see what sessions you might want to sign up for. You are able to sign up for sessions now all the way up until 1 minute before a session starts on the day of the fair. So definitely play around with that, see what schedule works best, and don't be afraid to pick up that last minute session on the day of to really get that chat going. You can see there's already a ton of options on there. So say we want to click on a session to sign up for, we would just go ahead and click right on there. So we went in to schedule one-on-one with Fisher Homes. There's tons of options available. So let's say we want to meet with someone at all those sessions. Look at them there for you to sign up. Great. So let's say we wanted to sign up for one at 2 o'clock. Perfect. We're just going to click on that 2 o'clock session and then we're going to hit confirm. And then we are signed up to meet with someone. And so it's perfect. We're not going to hit confirm now because we don't want to take a session away from you. But so you've hit that, you have confirmed, you're good. You're able to see all that information about them as well. That is there to be able to see like who they're looking for, what kind of jobs they have, information about who they are as a company as well. Definitely want to check that out, school years. So then when we've gone through and we've kind of collected our schedule, we'll go back up to the top. And we would go to choose your schedule. And so your schedule is where you're going to come the day of the fair, and all of your sessions are going to be listed there. And there's going to be a little video button where you're going to be able to click in on the ones that you've signed up for right there through Handshake. So that is a lot of what's going on. Before the fair, we definitely would recommend you go ahead and putting your resume up, things like that is really important so employers can see. So we do have a question about how do you cancel a session if you need to move one. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that really quick, if you don't mind, Rachel, showing if we sign up for a one-on-one, perfect, right there. So we're gonna click 1250, we're gonna confirm. Okay, then we'll go back to where all of your sessions are. It's really simple, easy. So you're back at your schedule and your session, and we can click right there on that one-on-one and just hit cancel reservation right there. So they make it, I feel like Handshake makes it so easy for you to add sessions and remove sessions. to be able to do that if you need to be able to do that. Okay, does anyone have any other questions about the platform and how it runs and how it's going to look day of for you? No, okay. So I'm gonna say that's gonna be kind of the end of our formal presentation and everything, but we wanna kind of leave the room open for you if you have any questions for us about anything related, if you want any resume reviews, things like that, we're here for you. If not, we look forward to seeing you at the fair next week, and you're gonna have great conversations.
Are you okay if I ask a question just verbally?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
please,
awesome.
please do.
So I'm also scheduled to go to the 5 to 6 p.m. like career prep workshop. Is it going to be about the same thing, or should I still go to that one?
So that